Did you know that your brain, this incredible machine we have, can start showing signs of fatigue not in your 60s or 70s, but much earlier, and that this can be sped up by an invisible enemy everyone faces? Everyday stress? What if I told you that brain fog, difficulty concentrating, and a never-ending tiredness could be warnings? Warnings that your dopamine and serotonin levels are plummeting, while silent inflammation might be attacking your brain's defenses right now? Stick with me, and we'll discover together how to turn this game around. Welcome to our little corner, the place where we unravel the mysteries of the mind for a longer, clearer life. And speaking of unraveling, if you don't want to miss any of our discoveries and want to help us keep producing transformative content, go ahead and click that subscribe now button. It's quick, and you'll secure your dose of applied neuroscience. Done? Great. Because today, our chat is serious and super important. We're going to talk about brain aging and the brutal impact stress can have. We usually think of aging and remember wrinkles, white hair. But what happens inside our heads is what truly defines our quality of life. Our brain, which commands everything, functions, thoughts, emotions, doesn't escape the passage of time. In fact, it's quite sensitive to it. As age sets in, some things change in its structure and function. Brain volume can decrease slightly, processing slows down, and sometimes memory and other cognitive functions start to falter. But the crux of the matter, which many people don't know, is that this process doesn't just depend on the calendar. Our lifestyle has a huge weight in this, especially chronic stress. Stress, when it becomes routine, acts as a true accelerator of brain aging. It triggers a series of chemical reactions that over time undermine the health of our neurons. You know those super important neurotransmitters, like dopamine, which gives us motivation, focus, and pleasure, and serotonin, which regulates mood, sleep, and appetite, well, they decrease. And when these chemical messengers are low, we feel it firsthand. Mental clarity fades, concentration vanishes, and overall well-being plummets. Then comes mental fatigue, lack of enthusiasm, and a vicious cycle forms, harming our emotions and our precious cognitive functions. But the damage doesn't stop there. Chronic stress is one of the main culprits of neuroinflammation. Imagine a small inflammation, but one that doesn't go away, happening inside your brain. The brain's defense cells, called microglia, become overactivated by stress and release inflammatory substances. These substances can destroy neurons, disrupt the brain's protective barrier, and ultimately accelerate cognitive decline. This silent inflammation increases the risk of more serious diseases, like Alzheimer's and Parkinson's. And if you think your brain has energy to spare, think again. It uses about 20% of the body's total energy, despite being only 2% of our weight. Chronic stress overloads the mitochondria, which are the small power plants within our cells, including neurons. When mitochondria aren't doing well, energy production drops, resulting in mental fatigue, difficulty concentrating, and that drained brain feeling. Moreover, malfunctioning mitochondria produce more free radicals, increasing oxidative stress. It's like rust for our brain cells. In this video, we won't just understand how all this works. We'll go much further. We'll reveal secret, practical, science-based strategies for you to not only protect your brain, but to truly rejuvenate it, combating the drop in dopamine and serotonin, and strengthening its defenses against the effects of time and stress. Get ready to discover how to maintain the clarity, focus, and vitality of youth, no matter your age. Strategy 1. Mastering your key. Neurotransmitters, the art of naturally boosting dopamine and serotonin. The foundation of a vibrant, resilient brain lies largely in the balance of its neurotransmitters. Dopamine and serotonin are often called happiness chemicals, but their job goes far beyond that. Dopamine is what moves us, the engine of our reward system, essential for learning, focusing, and feeling pleasure. When levels are optimal, we feel energized, engaged, and capable of pursuing our goals. Serotonin, on the other hand, is fundamental for mood stability, sleep quality, appetite control, and that overall sense of well-being and calm. Chronic stress, as we've seen, is a true saboteur of these neurotransmitters. It depletes our reserves, leading to a cycle of apathy, anxiety, and difficulty concentrating. But the good news is that we can act directly to protect and even increase the production of these crucial substances. Let's start with dopamine. One of the most efficient and enjoyable ways to increase dopamine is by achieving goals. Break down large tasks into smaller, manageable steps. Each time you complete one of these steps, your brain releases a small dose of dopamine, reinforcing this behavior and motivating you for the next step. And this applies not only to big projects at work, but also to personal goals, like learning something new or maintaining an exercise routine. Diet also plays a super important role. Foods rich in tyrosine, an amino acid that is the raw material for dopamine, can help. Include sources like almonds, avocados, bananas, beans, eggs, and lean meats in your diet. And interestingly, curcumin, the active compound in turmeric, has shown potential in increasing dopamine levels. Sun exposure, especially in the morning, also helps regulate dopamine production and set our biological clock, which improves mood and energy. And don't underestimate the power of music. Listening to those songs you love can release a huge amount of dopamine. That's why we get those pleasant shivers. Now, let's talk about serotonin. Just like with dopamine, diet is a great ally. Foods rich in tryptophan, the amino acid that gives rise to serotonin, are essential. Good sources include eggs, cheese, turkey, nuts, seeds, and salmon. A fun fact: for tryptophan to cross the blood-brain barrier and become serotonin, the presence of complex carbohydrates, like those in whole grains, fruits, and vegetables, can help, because the released insulin facilitates tryptophan's entry into the brain. Physical exercise is another major serotonin booster. Aerobic activities, such as running, swimming, or cycling, consistently increase serotonin levels, improving mood and relieving symptoms of depression and anxiety. Even a brisk walk every day can make a huge difference. The practice of gratitude, as simple as it may seem, also affects our brain chemistry. Focusing on the positive aspects of your life and feeling gratitude can stimulate the production of dopamine and serotonin. Try keeping a gratitude journal, writing down 3 things you're grateful for each day. And last but not least, touch and social connection. A hug, a caress, social interactions that truly mean something to you can increase levels of serotonin and oxytocin, another neurotransmitter linked to well-being and social bonds, combating the effects of isolation that stress can cause. By putting these tactics into practice, you're not just seeking a momentary up. You're cultivating an environment in your brain that favors the constant production and balance of these essential neurotransmitters. It's a direct investment in your mental clarity, your motivation, and your ability to face life's challenges with more strength and optimism. Strategy 2. Anti-inflammatory shield: how to combat neuroinflammation and protect your neurons. Neuroinflammation is one of those silent villains of brain aging. Although rapid inflammation is normal and even necessary for our defense system, chronic inflammation, that low-grade inflammation lingering in the brain, often worsened by constant stress, can cause significant damage over time. This persistent inflammation can damage neurons, disrupt communication between them, and even contribute to the formation of those amyloid plaques linked to Alzheimer's. Therefore, protecting your brain from neuroinflammation is a fundamental anti-aging strategy. Your diet is, without a doubt, the front line in this battle. An anti-inflammatory diet is your greatest ally. And what does this mean in practice? Prioritize foods packed with antioxidants and polyphenols, which combat oxidative stress, one of the main drivers of inflammation. Red and dark fruits like blueberries, blackberries, raspberries, acai, dark green leafy vegetables, spinach, kale, broccoli, nuts, especially walnuts rich in plant-based omega-3s, and seeds, chia, flaxseed, are true superfoods for the brain. Omega-3s, which we find abundantly in fatty fish like salmon, sardines, and mackerel, are powerful natural anti-inflammatories. These essential fatty acids not only reduce inflammation, but are also part of the structure of neuron cell membranes, being vital for their function. If you don't eat fish regularly, you might consider a good quality omega-3 supplement, but always talk to your doctor first, okay? Spices like turmeric, with its active component, curcumin, and ginger, are famous for their potent anti-inflammatory properties. Adding them frequently to your food can bring really cool benefits. Green tea, rich in catechins, also has anti-inflammatory effects and protects neurons. On the other hand, it's super important to reduce the consumption of foods that cause inflammation. This includes refined sugars, processed carbohydrates, trans fats, present in many processed foods and fried items, refined vegetable oils, like soy, corn, sunflower, when consumed excessively, and processed meats. These foods can trigger and sustain inflammation in the body, including the brain. Besides diet, controlling stress is vital. As we've seen, chronic stress activates microglia, the brain's defense cells, leading to the release of inflammatory cytokines. Practices like mindfulness meditation, yoga, and deep breathing techniques can help modulate the stress response, thus reducing the inflammatory load on the brain. Mindfulness, in particular, has been shown to be effective in decreasing markers of inflammation in the body. Sleep quality is also a decisive factor. During deep sleep, the brain performs a true cleanup, eliminating toxins and metabolic waste that can contribute to inflammation. Not sleeping well for a long time, on the other hand, increases levels of inflammatory proteins. Prioritizing 7 to 9 hours of restorative sleep per night is one of the best things you can do for your brain's health. Finally, regular physical activity not only improves mood and cognition, but also has anti-inflammatory effects. Exercise helps regulate the immune response and can reduce levels of inflammatory cytokines. By adopting a comprehensive approach, nourishing your body with anti-inflammatory foods, managing stress effectively, prioritizing sleep, and staying active, you create an internal environment that actively combats neuroinflammation. Thus, you protect your precious neurons and pave the way for healthier brain aging with more lucidity. Strategy 3. Energizing your mind. Optimizing mitochondrial function for more clarity and vitality. Your brain is a true powerhouse. Even though it's small, it's the organ that consumes the most energy in the body, responsible for about 20% of our total energy expenditure at rest. All this energy is produced by trillions of tiny organelles within your brain cells, the mitochondria. They are the power plants that convert nutrients from the food you eat into ATP, adenosine triphosphate, the energy molecule that fuels all brain activities, from thinking and remembering to regulating mood. Over the years, and especially with the impact of chronic stress, the efficiency of these mitochondria can decline. They may become less capable of producing ATP and, as a side effect, may start generating more free radicals, those unstable molecules that cause oxidative stress and damage cells, including neurons themselves. This mitochondrial dysfunction is a key factor in brain aging and mental fatigue, that feeling of brain fog, and the difficulty concentrating that many people experience. The good news? We can adopt strategies to protect and even improve the health of our brain's mitochondria. One of the most powerful things you can do is regular physical exercise. Exercise, especially aerobic and high-intensity interval training, HIIT, stimulates a process called mitochondrial biogenesis. That is, the creation of new mitochondria. More mitochondria and more efficient mitochondria mean more energy for your brain and less oxidative stress. Nutrition, again, plays a fundamental role. Certain nutrients are essential for mitochondria to function properly. B vitamins, for example, are crucial helpers in many of the chemical reactions that occur within mitochondria to produce energy. Foods rich in B vitamins include whole grains, lean meats, eggs, legumes, and green leafy vegetables. Antioxidants are key to protecting mitochondria from the oxidative damage they themselves can generate. In addition to the berries and colorful vegetables we've already mentioned, Think about foods rich in coenzyme Q10, CoQ10, a powerful antioxidant that also participates directly in ATP production within mitochondria. Good sources of CoQ10 include organ meats, especially heart, fatty fish, and broccoli. CoQ10 supplementation, in the form of ubiquinol for better absorption, might be an idea, especially with advancing age when our natural production tends to fall, but always with professional guidance, of course. Another interesting compound is alpha-lipoic acid, ALA, an antioxidant that also helps recycle other antioxidants like vitamin C and glutathione, in addition to supporting mitochondrial work. Good dietary sources are spinach and broccoli, but the amounts are small, and supplementation can be an option. Caloric restriction and intermittent fasting have also shown, in studies, the ability to improve mitochondrial health. They promote autophagy, a cellular cleaning process that removes damaged mitochondria, and stimulate the creation of new ones. But look, these are more advanced approaches and should be done carefully and, preferably, with professional supervision, especially if you have any health conditions. Quality sleep is another pillar for mitochondrial health. During sleep, cellular repair processes occur, and not sleeping well can lead to increased oxidative stress and mitochondrial dysfunction. Avoiding environmental toxins as much as possible is also important, as many of them can impair mitochondrial function. This includes pesticides, heavy metals, and certain chemicals present in plastics and cleaning products. By focusing on strategies that nourish and protect your mitochondria, you are, in fact, investing in your brain's main energy source. This translates into more mental clarity, better concentration, more energy throughout the day, and greater resilience against the effects of aging and stress. A brain with plenty of energy is a young and vibrant brain. Strategy 4. Cultivating neuroplasticity. Keeping your brain young and adaptable. Neuroplasticity is perhaps one of the most exciting discoveries in neuroscience. It's the brain's extraordinary ability to reorganize itself, form new connections between neurons, and adapt throughout life. Our brain isn't a static organ that just wears out over time. It's dynamic and malleable. This plasticity is the basis of learning, memory, and recovery from injuries. Cultivating neuroplasticity is essential for maintaining mental agility, the ability to learn new things, and cognitive strength as we age. Unfortunately, chronic stress is an enemy of neuroplasticity. It can reduce levels of brain-derived neurotrophic factor, BDNF, a super important protein for the growth, survival, and differentiation of neurons, and also for the formation of new synapses, the connections between neurons. Low levels of BDNF are linked to a higher risk of depression, cognitive decline, and neurodegenerative diseases. So, how can we actively promote neuroplasticity and increase our BDNF levels? Keeping your brain stimulated all the time is fundamental. Challenging your brain with novelty and complexity is like a gym for your neurons. Learning a new language, for example, is a fantastic brain exercise because it involves various cognitive areas. Playing a musical instrument, which requires fine motor coordination, reading sheet music, memory, and hearing, is also incredibly beneficial. Other activities include strategy games, chess, Go, complex puzzles, reading challenging books, learning to program, or even changing your daily routine to force your brain out of autopilot. The secret is to actively engage and make a mental effort. Physical exercise once again appears as a hero. Physical activity, especially aerobic exercise, is one of the most potent stimulants of BDNF production. When you exercise, your brain is bathed in this neuroprotective protein, which not only helps keep existing neurons healthy, but also promotes the birth of new neurons, a process called neurogenesis, especially in the hippocampus, a brain area crucial for learning and memory. Rich and meaningful social interactions also aid neuroplasticity. Stimulating conversations, debates, participating in groups with common interests, all these challenge your brain in positive ways. Social isolation, on the other hand, can have very negative effects on brain health. Social and family support, especially as we age, acts as a shield against stress and promotes a healthier brain environment. Mindfulness and meditation have also shown positive effects on brain structure and function, including increasing gray matter density in areas linked to learning, memory, and emotional regulation. These practices can literally reshape your brain for the better. A diet rich in certain nutrients can also support neuroplasticity. Flavonoids, found in foods like cocoa, dark chocolate with high cocoa content, green tea, and berries, have been associated with improved cognitive function and increased BDNF. Omega-3s, as we've discussed, are also vital for neuron membrane health and synaptic plasticity. Getting enough sleep is crucial for memory consolidation and for the plasticity processes that occur during sleep. It's during nighttime rest that many of the neural connections formed during the day are strengthened. By embracing continuous learning, staying physically active, cultivating healthy social relationships, practicing mindfulness, and nourishing your brain with the right foods, you are actively shaping a more resilient, adaptable brain capable of flourishing at any age. Neuroplasticity is your key to successful cognitive aging, allowing you to continue learning, growing, and adapting throughout your entire life. Strategy 5. Master stress management. Turning off the HPA. Axis alarm. Stress is a natural response and in small, manageable doses even helps us adapt. But chronic stress, the kind that doesn't go away for weeks, months, or even years, has a very negative impact on the brain and body, largely because it directly activates the hypothalamic pituitary adrenal (HPA) axis. This axis is our body's central stress response system. When we perceive a threat, be it physical or psychological, the hypothalamus releases corticotropin-releasing hormone, CRH, which tells the pituitary gland to release adrenocorticotropic hormone, ACTH. ACTH, in turn, travels through the blood to the adrenal glands, which then release cortisol, the main stress hormone. In brief situations, cortisol is good. It increases blood sugar for quick energy, makes us more focused, and temporarily shuts down non-essential systems like digestion and the immune response so we can deal with danger. The problem starts when the HPA axis alarm stays on all the time due to chronic stress. Consistently high cortisol levels can be devastating. Damage to the hippocampus. The hippocampus, crucial for memory and learning, is super sensitive to cortisol. Prolonged high levels can shrink the hippocampus, impairing the formation of new memories and contributing to cognitive decline. Immune system disarray. Although cortisol quickly reduces inflammation, chronic exposure can lead to cortisol resistance, resulting in an uncontrolled inflammatory response, the neuroinflammation we talked about. Brain chemical imbalances. Excess cortisol can disrupt the production and function of neurotransmitters like serotonin and dopamine, contributing to mood problems and lack of motivation. Metabolic problems. Cortisol increases blood sugar. Chronically, this can lead to insulin resistance, weight gain, especially in the belly, and increased risk of type 2 diabetes, all of which also negatively affect brain health. Accelerated aging. The hormonal imbalance caused by chronic HPA axis activation hinders cell repair and collagen production. So, a key strategy to rejuvenate the brain and combat the effects of aging is to learn to control the response of this HPA axis, meaning to manage stress effectively. Mindfulness and meditation practices are among the most powerful tools for this. By training the mind to focus on the present without judgment, we can reduce the tendency to ruminate on the past and worry about the future, which are major triggers for HPA axis activation. Studies show that regular meditation can lower cortisol levels and reduce the reactivity of the amygdala, the brain's fear center. Deep breathing techniques, like diaphragmatic breathing, the kind that uses your belly, activate the parasympathetic nervous system, the brake of the nervous system, which counteracts the fight or flight response of the sympathetic system and the HPA axis. Dedicating a few minutes each day to practicing conscious breathing can have a huge calming impact. Regular physical exercise, as we've mentioned, not only increases BDNF and well-being neurotransmitters, but also helps regulate cortisol levels. Physically active people tend to have a milder cortisol response to stress. Sleep quality is crucial. Not sleeping well is a physical stressor that elevates cortisol. Establishing a consistent sleep routine and ensuring a restful environment helps keep the HPA axis in balance. Spending time in nature, the famous forest bathing, or Shinrin-yoku, has been shown to reduce cortisol levels, blood pressure, and heart rate, promoting a state of relaxation. Building and maintaining strong, supportive social connections is also vital. Feeling connected and supported can buffer the effects of stress and help regulate the HPA axis response. Sharing concerns with trusted friends or family can alleviate the emotional burden. And finally, it's important for you to identify what causes you stress in your life and, whenever possible, take steps to reduce these factors or manage them better. This might involve setting boundaries, learning to say no, improving your time management skills, or seeking professional help like cognitive behavioral therapy, CBT, which is very effective for changing negative thought patterns that fuel stress. By mastering these stress management strategies, you're not just feeling calmer and more in control, you're actively protecting your brain from the harmful effects of chronically elevated cortisol. You're preserving your brain's structure and function and promoting healthier, more resilient brain aging. It's an investment in your cognitive longevity and your overall well-being. Recapping what we saw today, we explored how stress and time affect our brain, messing with everything from our vital neurotransmitters like dopamine and serotonin to the health of our mitochondria and the very structure of our neurons through neuroinflammation and reduced plasticity. But the coolest part is that we discovered an arsenal of secret strategies, accessible and science-based, not just to defend ourselves, but to actively rejuvenate our command center. We saw the importance of 1. Mastering our key neurotransmitters. Naturally boosting dopamine and serotonin with achievements, diet, sunlight, music, exercise, and gratitude. 2. Building an anti-inflammatory shield. Combating neuroinflammation with a diet rich in antioxidants and omega-3s, managing stress, and prioritizing sleep. 3. Energizing our mind. Optimizing mitochondrial function with exercise, specific nutrients like B vitamins and CoQ10, and restorative sleep. 4. Cultivating neuroplasticity. Keeping our brain young and adaptable through constant cognitive stimulation, learning new skills, physical exercise, and social connections. 5. Implementing master stress management. Turning off the constant HPA axis alarm with mindfulness, breathing techniques, time in nature, and seeking support. The main message is one of hope and empowerment. You have immense power over your brain's health and vitality. The changes you start making today will have a profound impact on your mental clarity, focus, and resilience in the decades to come. Don't feel overwhelmed by so much information. The secret is to start small, but start now. Choose 1 or 2 strategies that resonated most with you and commit to incorporating them into your life this week. Maybe it's adding a daily walk to your routine, or perhaps starting a gratitude journal, or even including more colorful vegetables in your meals. Every small change is a step towards a younger, healthier brain. Remember, protecting and rejuvenating your brain isn't a destination, but a continuous journey of conscious choices and healthy habits. The strategies we shared today are powerful tools that, when used consistently, can transform your brain health and consequently, your quality of life. If you found this content valuable and want to continue learning how to optimize your mind and body, don't forget to like this video. This helps us reach more people who can benefit from this information. And so you don't miss our next videos full of science-based tips and strategies for a healthier and fuller life. Subscribe to the channel and activate the notification bell. We'd love to hear from you. Which of these strategies are you most excited to try? Or maybe you already practiced some of them and want to share your results. Leave your comment below. Your experience can inspire other members of our community. Share this video with friends and family who might also be interested in protecting their brain health and combating the effects of stress and aging. Together, we can build a more informed and healthy community. Thank you for joining us on this journey towards a rejuvenated brain. Take care, stay curious, and see you in the next video.